everybody, welcome to Epida Studio. My name is Elizabeth and today we're going to be making this Sawtooth Star. Now this is a traditional quilt block. It's been around for a really long time and it's really popular for a good reason because it looks great and it's simple to go together. It doesn't have a lot of Y seams or some of the other things that make other stars complex. This one looks great. So to do this one, you will need a 6.5-inch square of the feature fabric color. And so a lot of times in quilts, the background color is light and the feature fabrics are medium and dark. But in this situation, I'm using a dark for the background fabric and a light for the feature fabric. So I have this light pink 6.5-inch square. You need 4 3.5-inch squares of the background fabric, which I'm using this dark green. And then you'll need 4 3.5 by 6.5-inch flying geese units. And so for flying geese units, you can use your favorite method to make these, but for this block, I would recommend doing the 4 at a time method. There's a link below that goes through in detail how to do this flying geese, how to put that together. So this, you want it to be 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So that's a finished size of 3 inches by 6 inches. In the final quilt, it will be 3 inches by 6 inches. This piece with the seam allowance is going to be 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches. So once we have the pieces, we're just going to lay them out to make sure that we have everything in the correct orientation. Now we're going to lay out the pieces, and the large feature colored square goes in the middle. The flying geese go around it at north, south, east, and west. And then the background squares go in the corners. So when we have that laid out, we can see that this is just a variation of a 9-patch block. We have 3 across and 3 down. So we're going to join these just the same way as we would for a 9-patch. We're going to join these into rows, and then we'll have 3 rows to join together. So to do this, I'm just going to flip over the ones that I'm going to stitch together, and then take this to the sewing machine, remembering that I'm going to stitch this side. If you want to put a pin in that side just to help you remember where the seam's going to be, then feel free to do that. That's not a problem. So now I'm at the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch these together with a 1/4-inch seam. And it's important to have an accurate 1/4-inch seam. So anytime you're going to begin a big project, take time to double check to make an accurate 1/4-inch seam, because even changing your needle or your thread weight, your fabric, it could have an impact on that. So just take a little minute to double check. And then I like to put this little tab on here to help me align my pieces so that I know my seam is accurate. And then you can just stitch one piece right after the other. There's no need to break the thread in between. So with chain piecing, we have our fun little banners of pieces. We're just going to snip these apart and then take them to press. So to press these, we want to lay them down with the solid piece face up. So in this situation, this is going to be the background corner piece. And I would press it this way even if this is you have a lighter color background. And the reason I would do this is because if you look at our seams, this piece doesn't have any seams. This piece has this seam. And if we're trying to press this open, that's going to have a lot of bulk. So this will help eliminate some of the heavy bulk and you won't have a big lump in your finished quilt. So the same one with this one. We want this solid piece face up. So we're going to hold the iron on just to press in the seam, and then open and press. And you press with an up and down motion, not a big back and forth motion, because that can sometimes throw off your seams. So again, with this one, we want the plain piece up and the flying geese at the bottom. And pressing your seams this way also means that this piece has a seam going this way, this piece has a seam going that way. So then when we're going to join them together, the seams will nest together nicely, and that'll make the construction a lot easier. So now we're going to add the third piece to make these rows. So on this side, we're also going to press that the same way. Press toward the background square. And on the middle row, press toward the inner square. So just double check to make sure everything is going in the right direction. You didn't get anything flipped around. Then we're going to join these two rows, and you can see that they nest together nicely at both spots. And this will really help as you're feeding it through to help the corners line up. So when you're joining the middle row to the end rows, we're going to press toward the middle row just because the flying geese have more seams, so we don't want that folded over on itself. We'll give it a final press, and then we are done. So here's a Sawtooth Star block. So this block is the second star in the Twinkle Star sampler quilt. So you can follow along. Check out epidastudio.com there's a quilt along for that. You can get the pattern and make that. There's 3 different variations. There's a tabletopper, a throw size quilt, or a lap size quilt, and they're all different star blocks. So you can check that out, or you can enjoy making just a quilt with the Sawtooth Star blocks all by itself. It's a great block, it's fun and easy to do, and I hope you enjoy it. So for more patterns, ideas, tutorials, and inspiration, check out epidastudio.com. Bye.